I'll be talking about my plan to pass the 100K, which I recently purchased the on QT. It's a QT Prime account, 100K. I'll just walk you through all the rules, uh, the ways how I position size, the way how I'm going to be taking risks, the way how I'm gonna try to scale. What is the timeline that I am planning on passing the account, and basically how I am going to pass the account. You need a system, right? You first need you need systems in place in order for you to pass accounts, and so I'm just going to walk you through my entire system and my entire plan step by step so you guys can understand and try to take a look into how my brain is processing and how I have set up the systems that work for me and for my risk to reward ratio and my win rate, right? So let's walk into it. So it's a QT Prime 100K. This is my past plan. A simple, robust framework. I'll follow to pass phase one, which is 8%, phase two, which is 5%, while protecting my account. Protecting the account, that is one of the main thing that you guys have to get through your minds, right? Survival is everything. And of course, it's built around gold. And I usually trade the London to New York overlap session, and I usually do an SMC or sort of an SMC training. So let's talk about the first topic, the first subject, which is what is my mission, right? You always got to set goals, and of course, what are my guardrails, meaning where am I going to stop? These two are very, very important. So that is why I put this as the first topic and the first header, mission and guardrail. So my primary goal is to pass phase one in 2 to 3 weeks and pass my phase two in within 2 weeks, right? And of course, without any of the rules being violated, right? So this is an overview. This is the overview of my account right now, the QT Prime. So my target is phase one 8% and phase two 5%. And the daily drawdown is my maximum daily drawdown is 4%, and my max daily drawdown is 10%. Okay, so the minimum trading days is 4 days per phase. That's going to be easy. Like even if you take a big risk, you pass it on day one, you could just take the smallest lot size possible, 0.01, and just take one trade a day and just finish the minimum trading days. And it has a news restriction, so basically I cannot open or I cannot close, neither can I modify any trades, modify an existing trade within the 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after a high impact red folder news, which is usually you can see all the red folder news on your Forex Factory, right? But this prop firm QT allows me to go through with any trade if the SL and TP is executed within those 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after. It is going to honor it. Okay, it's mentioned in the FAQ clearly. And if you're going to purchase an account with QT, please read the FAQs properly, right? And where am I going to stop? My guardrails, my hard stops. So my daily equity stop will be a -2%. You will see why it's going to be a -2%. And if reached, I'll be done for the day. And I'll be taking 2 attempts. And if I get one attempt, I achieve my full TP, I'm just going to forget the next attempt for the day. And I'm just going to go into the next day, right? And no revenge or rule bending for any reason. Like I'm going to stick to the rules that I'm going to be mentioning after this point, and I'm going to stick to that no matter what. I'm not going to follow anyone's setup. I'm not going to just go with the flow and just go with my gut feeling like it's going to go up and I'm going to take trades. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to the systems that I have placed and I have made well beforehand, right? Let's move on to the next topic, which is my risk model. So I will be risking 0.75 per trade, which is $750 on a 100K account. And So once I create a 3% buffer, right, which is winning two full trades. If I win two full 0.75 trades, I will be getting a phase equity of plus 3%. Once I reach the 3%, I'm going to be start taking trades at 1%, right? So I've done the hard work, I've made some buffer, I've made $3,000, and I have to make 5,000 more in order to clear my phase one. So in that case, I will be taking a 1% trade. So in the 1%'s case, I will be risking 1% trying to make 3%. So, and I have three good chances because I've already created that buffer in between, right? So that is going to be very key for you to scale up your funded very, very fast. And the basic trade management, which I usually suggest to do, is take partials at 1 to 2. Take 50% off the table, or 25 or 75, depends on your trading style. But do take partials at 1 to and at 1 is to 2, set break even SL, and just let the play out, right? Let the runner target 1 is to 3 or 1 is to 4 if a clean imbalance ahead, right? If there's a good imbalance or liquidity to be grabbed, do let the runners run. And I have a session profit cap of 1 is to 5 to a 2%. Once I book the day, I think I'm just gonna stop for the day, and I'm gonna trade only the very next day, just like you would trade an actual 100K live funded account. So I'm practicing actually trading on the live funded account just like I would in the funded phase, right? So why does this work? The math. So the math behind the risk model, right? Which is, if you take a 0.75 risk and you net two winners, meaning if you take partials at 1 is to 2 and you let your runners run till 1 is to 3 or 1 is to 4, in the net profit you're going to only be 2R, right? So your win is going to be about plus 1.5%, which is good. And so your phase one, which technically you need 5 to 6 net winners in order for me to clear phase one, right? Which includes a few losses in between, or if including the few losses, I will need 8 to 12 trades. So my win rate is around 40%, and I usually target a 1 is to 3. So 40% for 1 is to 3. I probably have like a 50% or a 55% for a 1 is to 2. So yeah, I am still sticking with my 1 is to 3. So I did not take a partial at 1 is to 2. I'll show you a later example down of the trade that I took yesterday on Friday, 3rd October, right? I will be making a video on that tomorrow, like telling exactly why and how I took that trade. But for today, I'll just be showing it for your example later on. And phase two, you just need 3 to 4 winners. Phase two is going to be easy if your phase one goes very smoothly. I don't think there's going to be any issue on your phase two. You just follow the same setups, you follow your same plan, you follow your same execution, and you're all good, right? Third, the setup quality filter. So many people have a huge issue when it comes to this. They know what their style is, but they don't know how does an A plus setup looks. So I'll first tell you how you have to find out, or how you can find out an A plus setup with your own trading style. So the only way you can do that is to review all the back tested data. You can easily keep on back testing, right? You can go into FX replay, you can literally set a buy, you can set a sell, whatever it is, but you're never going to understand where you went wrong if you don't go through the data that you have recorded, right? The moment you go through the data that you have recorded, I will show you the amount of trades that I have taken, right? So you can see all these trades. I've recorded almost 240 trades. I've recorded before, after screenshots, and I usually go through them every once in a while, like my winners, my losers, my cost to cost. Only then will I, can anyone understand what an A plus setup looks like for you? My framework is basically going very easy. I usually daily I post my daily analysis every morning. You can go check it out every single morning. You just wait for it, and I'll be posting it. And I usually see the 4 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 50 minutes to understand a bias, whether you're on a buy or a sell. And for your execution, if I'm executing from a 4 hours point of view, I'll be moving on with the 15 minutes. Otherwise, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, I usually go with the 5 minutes. And for my very special Asia setup that I keep telling in the videos on the analysis days, I usually execute it with the 3 minutes, right? So these are the 5 things I look for. And if all 5 things fall in place, I will take the trade. I'll just click the buy or the sell. Very easy. Okay. First, always understand your bias. On the higher time frame, what is the bias? Or if you're targeting from a higher time frame, OB or a fair value gap, align it with the direction of the session. Always use Asia high or lows as liquidity. Those are most of the times using any trades or OBs that always come with your Asia highs as lows as liquidity. They always, most of the times, consider as an A plus setup, right? Next, see where the pockets of liquidity are, right? So sweep of the session high or the low into your higher time frame zone, basically your higher time frame bias. It could be even the the previous day highs and lows. And the moment price executes or sweeps or enters your higher time frame bias or your zone, right, you have to see the impulse. You have to see what is the market trying to do, whether there's a clear displacement on your lower time frame, right, which is your fair value gaps. I use fair value gaps and the usual CHOCH, change of character and the break of structure, etc. And then it just comes down to entries, right? The moment you see a clear displacement, you see your bias, it follows the bias. Next, you see the pockets of liquidity. Are they aligned with your bias? Next, you see whether there's a clear displacement from the point of interest on your higher time frame. And once that's there on the lower time frame, right? Once that's there, just take an entry, set a limit, see if the lower time frame mitigation, whether that's an OB fair value gap, or especially whether that OB or fair value gap or whatever is your trading style comes into that discount region. You call a discount region whenever you draw a Fibonacci and it's below your 50%, it's always in the discount region. So that is something that I've very recently added to my trading, and that's drastically improved the quality of setups that I am getting, right? So do look into Fibonacci, using Fib for your order blocks, your fair value gap, or just any sort of trading. I definitely feel like Fib could be something that you guys are lacking. Do try it out. And of course, with the tight invalidation beyond the lower time frame swing. Next, see whether there's good targets present. So that is where you need to identify the pockets of liquidity available, right? Once you see those pockets of liquidity, they are just magnets. Technically, they're just magnets. So pockets of liquidity, which I am saying, is the swings. Every single swing has a pocket of liquidity. You have your session high, your lows, you have your previous day highs and lows, you have session highs and lows, you have clean imbalance, like clean fair value gaps that are just there to be taken up, right? Or if the target is very cramped, like let's just say the target is like very choppy, it's like 1:2-ish, 1:1.5, just skip it, because it's not worth taking those trades, right? You don't want to risk if there are no obvious targets ahead to be targeted or for price to take out those. So if any of the box fails, no trade. It's just very simple as that. Next, most funded accounts, they always have a news rule, right? How to safely execute and work your way in trading around the news is basically go through your daily news list. You can just see that on Forex Factory. You just have Forex Factory right here, right? This is last week's. You can see all these news. These are I have set and filtered for just the red and like the leaves for the bank holidays, etc. And I've put all currencies because I do trade London and New York. So I need to see whether what currency banks are on leave, right? That could really affect the session's volatility and the session's the session could be easily manipulated. So I need to be able to see that. So now usually the top firms or whatever it is, usually they have a 10-minute window, right? That is 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after. So there should be no orders, new orders during that time, and you shouldn't manually change your SL and TP before 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after. So sometimes what I do is, if my trade is running from London session going into your New York session and I have a news release, I usually 5 minutes before I usually close the trade, or I set the SL to the recent 15-minute swing low or 15-minute swing high, depending on the trade. I usually set a very tight SL so that you know I just let price do its thing, right? Because news can easily be manipulated and no one has a say in the news. So if it's very flat out obvious, because I will be doing my daily analysis in the morning, and if I really think that I'm going against news, in that case I would sell the trade. So news management, these all come under position management, right? This is not risk management. I've covered risk management. This comes down into position management. Like, once you have an active trade, how do you safely execute it? So this is what I'm going through. So this is my next point, right? Set break even or partials would fall inside the freeze. So manage before or after the window. So you got to manage before that 5 minutes and after the 5 minutes window. So make sure you do all the changes much beforehand. Now we're coming down into the main things, my main system, you know, to make me profitable, which has got me very profitable, which is a daily routine. First thing, a daily routine needs to be very repeatable and very easy to repeat it. So do go through your life, do a life audit or whatever it is, and figure out what the best daily routine is for you. So now you have to create a pre-session bias so that going into the session, you already know what you are expecting to happen, and if things happen exactly as it is, you have to just enter or make set your entries, or just go through or stick with your plan, basically, right? So I usually just mark out the Asia session highs, lows, previously highs, lows, and the key higher time frame OB/FVG, right? So for example, if you are very dumb or you can't really remember what's up with your bias, or don't post a YouTube video like me, right? So for example, you can just write this or note this down for the day. For example, if London sweep Asia low into 1 hour demand and displaces 5 minutes up, I buy the mitigation to target session high 1:3, or else I'll wait. Now, for example, this was what we saw on October 3rd and what I mentioned in the video as for my bias. So when I was recording the video, price was in this region, right? Price was right here. And what I expected price to do was to take out Asia highs, come down all the way into Asia lows or somewhat in this region, and then explode all the way for creating all-time highs. But what did price do instead? So that is what I capitalized on, right? So I expected price to take the high, which it did, and I expected price to go down, so which it did. So that's why I went on a short all the way till here, try to capture that 50 minutes or that 50% of the Asia session, right? Pull back, which it did not work, and it did not follow my plan. It did not do a deep retracement, and it went high. But if it did, I would have taken this trade, right? It would have hit profit, take profit, and I would have executed a trade from this region, right? So that's why you have to do a pre-session bias all the time. The moment you do a pre-session bias, you have to just stick and just go just blindly follow the plan or the things that you have marked out in the mornings, right? So now during your sessions, you will just usually wait for the 5 point checklist, which I mentioned above, and you execute 1 to 2% max, right? So then you set partials, break even, let the runners run, just simple, very, very, very simple stuff. If it's very messy for more than 60 minutes, right? You like, let's just say you're watching the charts, more than 60 minutes is just going chung, 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 chung on the same area. Just walk away, just set some limits on your trading view, just walk away if the limits hit. So your alerts hit, you can just go into the market again and sit back and watch the charts. Now your post session, this is one of the most important things that many people fail to understand, how freaking important post session analysis is, right? You have to journal your before and after screenshots, what sort of setup you took, your RRs, your behavior notes, like note down exactly how your behavior was before, what you thought would happen, what happened during the trade, and what eventually happened. That is what's going to make you the best version of yourself, right? If a plus 1.5 plus gets hit, I usually am done for the day. Now I'll show you a Google sheet of the first trade that I took on my QT 100K. I've noted down the date, I've noted down the day, I've noted down the time, I've exactly the plan that I've set up exactly got executed. Note down the pair, which is gold, of course, the direction I went for a sell, this is my entry, this is my SL, this is my TP. I have risked 0.75%. What is the risk in dollars? My lot size, this is the lot size that I used. This is my planned RR according to this, which is a 1:4 trade basically. This is the eventual exit price, and because I exited at this, I got a realized R of 0.04, and with the commissions of going for raw spreads, which is $10.88. So I made a profit of $13 minus the fee, $2.7. Now my account is at $100,002.70, right? And this trade got executed in the London session, and the time frame I used was, my higher time frame bias was a 5 minutes and my lower time frame bias was a 3 minutes. My setup was based on just Asia, right? It was completely based on Asia. Yeah, I did not make any notes of this because yeah, my laptop was kind of messed up, and yeah, then I just completely forgot what went through my mind during the trade, so I left it as blank. So most likely for the next trade, I will be noting it down, and my before and after screenshot, so that I can do my analysis, like, of the trades that I take during the week. I can look into it anytime, right? Let's get back to it. So that is it, and let's go back to figuring out what my timelines are. So I want to pass both the phases within a month, right? But within a month is not that realistic, especially with the trading style that I have. So I am hoping I can pass phase 1 in 2 to 3 weeks, and hopefully I get just consecutive green days, right? Who doesn't want consecutive green days? And I will pass phase 2 in 1 to 2 weeks. That is for sure, though. And if drawdown gets more than -3%, let's just say I'm on a losing streak in this from the start, I shift my risk back to 0.5. From 0.75, I shift my risk back to 0.5%. And then I go for -1 till I reach -1%, and then I again risk 0.75%. So the position size. So how do I quickly calculate my position size for the trade? I would always suggest you to use a lot size calculator that just removes the human error of calculating lots by seeing, calculating how big is your SL, and then just remove all that error. So this is the lot size calculator that I use. It's right here. So for example, I'll show you how I executed the trade that day. Right, so this is the trade. So you can see 3863.1 is my entry, and 3865.8 is my SL, right? So let's input that 3863 3863.1 is my entry, and 3865.8 is my SL. So with a risk of 0.75 calculated for MT5, because I'm using MT5. You see that how I came up with the 2.7 lot size? It told me to go with a 2.77 lot size, for which I rounded up to 2.7. Right? This is a very easy way. Remove human error. Just use lot size calculator. This is a must for any one trading funded. Your red flag scenarios, which you have to automatically skip. If you are not having an understanding of your higher time frame, just don't enter. If you don't have a clear target, your pockets of liquidity where you're going to target for your take profit, skip the trade. Do not add in to losers. So if you're already in an SL, do not add in to a trade. If you are in profit and you see another opportunity to take a smaller risk and go for a second trade, go for it. And do not widen your SL. So do not, for example, let's just say my SL was right here, right? Once I see price go into this region, people can normally, just widen the SL till here, but it still is in a risk, right? Once it comes closer, and then you're like, oh, I'll just put it over this way. So when you're trading, always calculate the SL risk that you're going to take and just stick to it no matter what. Late Friday New York trades, just skip Friday in general. But if you're going to be taking trades, do not take it very, very late, and especially do not hold it over the weekends, especially with the markets that we are in right now. No one has any clue of what's happening. Prices just boom, going up. One day it goes 500 pips down. So like just skip Friday and do not try to hold your trades over your weekends. Any action that would require, so just don't modify your trades, do not open or close during your 5 minute plus or minus 5 minutes news window, right? What are my contingencies? Stuff can happen. Trading is unpredictable, right? You have your cold streak. Let's just say I start off with a -3 or a -5% on my phase. I will just switch to a 0.5% risk, start trading one setup a day, which my plan usually is to trade 2 setups a day. Just trade 1 setup a day, focus on 1:2, and then set break even and go for 1:3. That's it. And if I blow a day early, like let's just say I take 2 setups and both my setups blow within an hour, within the same session, within 2 hours, I just close for the day. I'm just leaving it. And I probably will review and probably back test a little bit more so I can get back my motivation for the day. And exceptional day. So if my first trade bangs 1:4 or 1:5 setup, I just close and I'm like just done for the day. So if I have to sum up all the things that I've said in this video, I have said a lot of knowledge and a lot of value to be learned, right? If I have to say it in one page, I'm going to be risking 0.75. Once I am plus 3% on the challenge phase, I'm going to use 1% risk. My daily stop is going to be -2%. My win cap is going to be 1:5 or 2.25%, which is a 1:3%. My max attempts I'm going to be taking a day is 2. I'm gonna how I usually trade is with a higher time frame bias. Do a lower time frame analysis. Once it taps the region, I'm looking for a sweep or some sort of a displacement, and then the mitigation, meaning the retracement back into the zone, and I'm targeting a 1:3. How I usually manage the trades, right? I take partials at 1:2, set SL to break even, and let runners run for a 1:3, 1:4, 1:5. I usually target a maximum of 1:5 in my trades. News, I'm not going to open, close, or modify within the plus or minus 5% of the red folder news release, right? So I should be presetting the SL maybe like 6 minutes before the news. I'll be presetting the SL and a new TP. I will skip if there is no targets to be grabbed, if the markets are very choppy, I'm not going to revenge trade. And late Friday is already a red flag. I would just skip it. Final reminder from my side to you after all this stuff that I've explained. Just protect your green days. Once you are in the green, just stay vigilant, protect your green days, take your partials off, set break even, take risk off the table, enjoy the green days. Try to take only A plus setups, do your reviews, do your back test, understand what is an A plus setup for you. Take only A plus setups and just keep orders out of the news window, and that's it. That's literally it. Perfectly a perfect end to this video. And yeah, I genuinely enjoyed going through all of this with you guys. Holy shit. Like, I've come so far in this trading journey, and it's just one more hurdle to pass, passing that big 100K funded account. And for sure, I'll pass it. I'll pass it within a month. So, yeah. All right. I'll catch you in the next one. Mwah.